Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's the RC Genius. Today I have got a video, hopefully that you find useful at some point. Most of the people who would be watching this, if you are watching this, maybe it's because you need to learn how to drive an RC monster truck on a track, or maybe you just want to see how I do it. But basically what this video is I'm going to be showing you how I drive my RC monster trucks on my backyard track that I've built. This track has been in most of my videos, and today the vehicle that I have for us is my Traxxas Monster Jam Max D here. Here's the truck, and this one I've not yet shown in any of my videos. This one has got the red aluminum into G parts on it, so skid plates, A-arms, and also caster blocks on there. In this truck, I've got a Radiant brand, which is Hobbytown USA's brand of motor, and it is this equivalent of a Titan 550 motor. That's it right there, and I'm running a 7-cell 3000 milliamp hour battery in it. And also the shocks on it are Helion aluminum shocks. So most of the things on this truck that could break are aluminum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I drive my truck. I'm going to give you a few tips, and then my next video for sure, since this truck is could possibly get dirty in this video, my next video will actually how to properly clean an RC car or monster truck. So you don't have to take my advice, but this is just how I do it, and you're welcome to use my methods if you would like to. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so right here, let's see, right there is the ramp that I built in one of my previous videos. And so what I'm going to first show you is how to land a truck softly and without breaking anything. Because really, if you land on one tire, if the front of the truck is too high up in the ground and you land on the rear end too hard, you could snap something in the back. So how you do this is, here's my truck rolling up. So I'm going to give you an example. I am not going to do anything. I'm just going to go how most people who are new to the hobby, I'm going to basically drive up to this ramp and hit it however a new person would do it. And that would be like this. And you see now I'm upside down. I'm upside down, I hit on the rear end, and of course I have aluminum stuff, and that wasn't a really big jump, but if I hit it hard enough and I was going really high and really fast, I could have broken something. Not in that scenario, but in a different scenario I could have. So I'm going to go flip the truck over, and I'm going to show you how to properly land it. So on pretty much every RC that you have that exists that has a remote like this, now of course this truck is a really ancient vehicle, the Traxxas, they don't make it anymore, so that's why it's got this long antenna, which I usually call a jousting stick or a really big eye poker, because that's what it could be. Now, how you do it is on a remote. Usually, when you push forwards once, that's the brakes, and then when you push it forwards a second time, that's when you engage reverse. And then, of course, pulling it towards you makes the truck go forwards. So what you want to do is, while you're in the air, just as you lift off a ramp, you want to tap the brakes just a little bit, and that's going to kind of make it go, make the truck level in midair. So let me go ahead and show you. See, now that was a much better jump. I didn't flip over, and I didn't really hit the rear end. I'll go one more time, just like that. Now this truck is rear-wheel drive. Most of my vehicles are rear-wheel drive, but if you have a front-wheel drive front wheel drive, sorry, then this method will be a lot more effective because then the front wheels will stop moving as well. Whereas my front wheels, they just spin freely. So any ramp that you hit, if you hit the brakes, it will level the truck out. And let me go one more time and actually show you what happens if you don't hit the brakes. See, I just hit the rear bumper right there. So that's kind of what you want to do. Now, next thing that next method, and I'm sure that other people have come up with this method, but I don't know for sure. I'm just going to say that it's kind of my method. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know how when you're driving a real car, when you are at a stoplight, when the stoplight turns green, then you hit the accelerator and the car moves back. That's just simply the way the car is made. Front engine cars, they do that. And so especially if they're rear wheel drive, it kind of pulls you back, it pushes you back into your seat. You can see videos, or if you have a sports car, when you accelerate really hard, you push yourself back into your seat. What happens with what happens with these RCs is when you do that, the same thing happens, especially if your shocks are really, really soft. So what you want to do is just before you hit the ramp, you kind of want to let go of the throttle a little bit so that way you're not leaning back too much, and then your rear bumper doesn't clip the edge of the ramp. So I'm actually going to go ahead and set the GoPro up for this one. I don't know how well it's going to work because these shocks are different than the stock shocks. So we'll see how it works, but I will set the GoPro up for a second view of this method. Okay, so I don't know how well this is going to work, but with all of my vehicles, I always do this method. I've been doing this for my entire experience with this hobby, and so I'm going to go ahead and hit it full speed without decelerating at all before hitting the ramp, and let's see if it works. Don't know if I clipped it. Let's see. Not really. Like I said, these shocks are different. But if you have really soft shocks, then this method will definitely work for you. And also, something else you have to consider is these ramps are different than what I used to use. What I used to use were like these white plastic container covers for like big moving boxes that were plastic. And so the rear end would definitely catch on it. And I'm just used to it, but I find that this method really helps a lot. So now I'm going to go ahead and kind of get off the throttle a little bit just before I hit the ramp. Literally, what you want to do is you just want to get off the throttle, and you don't even have to get off the throttle all the way. It's just that way it doesn't lean back as much. And this will, you want to kind of let go of the throttle just at like 4 or 5 inches, maybe 6 inches roughly before you hit the ramp. So let's go ahead and do that. And you see that, and then you can hear the engine, or the motor, sorry. You can hear it just accelerate just as I get to the ramp. Now the next thing, something that I learned the hard way, if I show you my vehicle, right here, I'm going to try and get behind the camera, and right there is the red aluminum A-arm. Let's see if I can focus my camera. That's not that bad. But right here, you can't really see that well, but right there is the axle. And what attaches the axle to the transmission housing is called the differential output yoke. What that does is that's what's connected to the spur gear that's on the inside and then connects to the motor. There's a few other gears, but just to make it really simple so you understand, that's basically how it works. Now, when you're in the air, this is kind of a plus when you hit the brakes in the midair. When you're in the air, if you hold the throttle too much and then you land, the axles are on pivots balls that can pivot, so that way they can move up and down and still be turning while you're hitting the accelerator. So what you want to do is, when you're in the air, you don't really want to be holding the throttle down, because one, your front of the truck will go up into the air, like I said, and two, when you land, it'll kind of send a shock through the axles, and you can break those differential output yokes, and I have done that many times in the past, and I've done it so many times that now in my shop I keep up to 10 spare differential output yokes, because it happens often. Now it doesn't, because I use this method, but let me just show you. You don't want to have to you don't want to be on the accelerator in midair. That's kind of a trick there that you don't want to forget, is you don't want to be in midair and have the accelerator going. Now, my last trick, and this is obviously, this should be a pretty simple trick, and most people should know this, especially if they attempt doing a backflip. This is my backflip ramp. It's just a tree that I kind of put some dirt up against to make it a smooth ramp. And what you do is, when you're in the air, you want to keep you want to hold the throttle down as hard as possible. Just hold it down all the way until you rotate. It's part of the Bernoulli effect, actually. And you don't have to take my word for it if you don't want to, or you can go ahead and look it up yourself. But when your wheels are spinning, it allows it to move through the air, and when you do that, it rotates it. And that's exactly why, when you are in midair hitting a regular ramp, you want to hit the brakes, because you don't want to do a backflip in midair. While it's cool, you could damage the truck, unless you're purposely trying to do it at your own risk. So let's go ahead and see if we can do a backflip. In my previous video, or one of my, I think 2 videos ago, my video with Pro Legends, I did a backflip with my blue son of a digger truck, and my aluminum parts were so heavy that I couldn't quite rotate all around. But let's see if I can, all the way around. Let's see if I can do it with this one. So, okay, it's kind of a double backflip, but still, you kind of get the point, sort of. So there you go, kind of a little bit of a how-to video. One more tip that I just thought of. I know this video's title is 4 tips, but I'll give you a 5th one just for good luck. One more thing is, if you're ever driving a car and a monster truck, an RC monster truck, of course, or a real one, I guess, but if you're ever driving an RC truck and you do a jump and then the truck starts to lean on its side, turn the wheel to steer the wheels the way that it's about to fall, and maybe you'll be able to recover out of that potential rollover. So that's going to wrap up my video. That's going to be the end. Thank you for watching. My next video will probably be cleaning up this truck. It's a little bit muddy now. I'm gonna finish off this battery, however, but I will probably do a video. I'm not gonna make a promise, but I'll probably do a video of cleaning the truck, because I do like them to stay clean. And please like and subscribe. Tell me if you like this video, and also tell me if you want to see more tips on how to drive RC cars, and I will gladly make them. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on the RC Genius.